seniors meetings are as well attended as mine.
Can you come every week for the next month? Oh.
Microphones are mobile. Camera.
Give us a nod.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me 1 second. I have something of interest. Okay, we'd like to welcome all of those present to our city council meeting, September 10th, 2024. And Gary, we welcome you.
Thank you.
I don't see any others joining. So appreciate everybody's efforts in the last meeting. I've asked Jeffrey if you'd do the pledge, and Jeff, if you'd give us a prayer.
Everybody please stand. Repeat the pledge of allegiance after me. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America.
Okay.
To the
To the republic,
stands one
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
justice.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful, Father in heaven, for this evening that we can meet here as a city council and discuss the things of this outstanding city. We're grateful for this opportunity we have to do this project and these things to discuss. We ask you to bless us as we make decisions and stuff and talk about things this evening that we'll be doing it in thoughts of all the citizens here in Morgan. We're grateful for all of our first responders and those serving in the military and providing us our freedom. And we're so grateful for this valley we live in, the freedoms we enjoy, and say these things in the name of thy son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
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 Thank you. Well, I'll entertain a motion to approve tonight's meeting agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the meeting's agenda for tonight in a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. Item 2, I'll entertain a motion and discussion if we have any changes in the minutes of the city council meeting, August 13th, 2024, and the warrants from 8/23/24 to 9/6/2024. Do we have any discussion or changes on that?
Mayor, I've read the minutes and warrants, reviewed them both, and Denise, that was a good job on the minutes. There was a lot we talked about. Would move to approve the minutes of the city council meeting, August 13th, and the warrants of 8/23 to 8/6 or 9/6/2024.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the council meeting of August 13th, 2024, and the warrants of 8/23/24 to 9/6/2024. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. Don't see any public here or any comments. I actually had a couple folks that said they were gonna be here, so I'm disappointed they aren't here. But that's just the way things go. I'd also like to, while it's in this little comment meeting or comment section, I'd like to thank the whole council for the way they go about their job in doing what they feel after much discussion and much deliberation to move the city forward. I've had the opportunity to defend you five brothers and our city manager several times for some reason in the last couple of weeks. But I could look anybody in the eye and say, you know, where are you when we're discussing these things? And you sort of put us in this position and voted us in this position to act, obviously trying to do the best interest, but we have nobody ever giving us any input. So it's a hard job at times. I know there's criticisms, but I was happy to say that what we've done, I couldn't think of one time since I've been the mayor that we just acted without a lot of deliberation and discussion. And it's hard to know what everybody feels about everything. So sometimes you're in a hot seat, and I appreciate your efforts and your loyalty to the residents of the city. I did say one thing that I think, I guess I can say this. I said that we take it seriously, and I just said your mayor asks God all the time for input and which way is the best way to move. And so I think that we have been moving in the right direction, and I appreciate your willingness to take some shots sometimes.
Thank you, Steve. Kind words, and appreciate your leadership also.
Yeah.
Goes both ways.
Well, it's been a good experience overall.
And fun to watch you learn and mature in the position.
Yeah,
You're there.
there's a truth that you can't teach old dogs new tricks. So,
No, not so. You've done well.
so I appreciate all of you. I sincerely do.
Appreciate you.
Let's move on to item 4. A review. Let's see. I think we can go to item B first, so you don't have to ruin your evening.
I'm a city member now.
Okay, well then we'll go with item A, review an action agreement for installation and maintenance of gauging station between U.S. Geological Survey, Utah Water Science Center, and Morgan City, resolution 24-32. So Ty, this is kind of interesting. I like this.
Yeah, so this is an agreement for them to place a metering station on the Union Street Bridge. Or just put candy in my mouth.
Or
One of the things I like about it is during flood seasons to have a gauge. It'll show up right on the map, right as water enters town, so we'll have a real accurate stream flow,
Real time.
real time.
Yeah, sweet.
Stream flow and minimal impact, just a small attachment to the bridge, and then most equipment on their end is on the bank. And it'll be on the bank by the Jenkins property,
Oh,
not on the side where we're doing the trail on.
Trail. And in the pictures,
Mayor, can I be excuse me? I gotta go make a phone call.
sure. So on the pictures that we have, figure 2, there's like a depth gauge on the shoreline there, it looks like, just barely in the river.
Yeah.
Is that similar to what it's gonna be?
Well, they'll have a transducer on it as well. That measures the water level, so. I'm not sure if you're on the same picture, figure 2.
Yes,
So if you look up above on the bridge.
yeah,
Where it's attached to the bridge, that's pointed down, that's a transducer that measures the. And then the other one is just a physical picture of. That they put in there. that shows water level.
Okay.
One kind of does depth and stream flow, like how fast it's moving and depth. And I don't know all the magic of how it all ties together, but that just shows the minimal impact on the bridge and the river.
So an amateur fly fisherman won't interfere with that?
Nor a professional.
Not under the bridge.
Okay. Okay,
And then the agreement is just in the packet and it's just a standard agreement. Unless Gary has anything that he would.
you good with everything, Gary?
It's good.
On the agreement, I know it made reference to an expiration. Now, what is the expiration of the agreement?
I don't recall that it says, I think,
Uh,
like you said, as if
I
there's
don't,
a couple of options for them to dispose of them.
yeah, that maybe the reference is that at the end or whenever the termination came, they would dispose on their part of the equipment, but
It says 5 years. So it says this agreement shall be effective when fully executed and shall remain in full force for 5 years
mhm.
unless.
With
And then it
with
just,
an option to renew, right?
yeah, I think it just stays in place, but it until either one of us gets sick of it or don't see a reason for it.
yeah, after 5 years, the agreement will continue in force until terminated.
Yeah, so we're agreeing to a minimum of 5 years, I guess.
I
is a
gotcha.
better way to say that.
And then, did you say it's just automatically renewable or you negotiate a little or,
Remains in force,
In place until someone decides.
okay,
And then
This
you give written notice to,
can be terminated by either the USGS or the landowner
Mhm.
on 60 days written notice. The only other question I had,
In the city right away or?
yeah,
it
yeah, and all in the city
Yeah.
right away where the bridge is.
gives access to the equipment, the agreement does. I just had one other question, and that is on the federals, I think it was the last page, the federal side, there was no information on who that is.
Who would sign it, you mean?
I suppose, I mean, it's just all blank. Does that fill in later?
Yeah. Yeah, they'll probably have to take us through them collecting their signatures first, and then we'll just sign it when they're ready.
Okay,
Mhm.
that'd be,
Usually
good
the,
as we sign it.
usually the USGS, their project chief, who in this case is Ryan Roland or whatever, would be the signatory on that, but we don't know who that'll be.
Okay.
Yeah, so I guess that's kind of the point too, is you're just authorizing me to sign it.
Mhm.
I get their signatures collected.
I don't have any other questions.
everybody okay?
Good.
Well, entertain a motion.
I move to approve. Were you going ahead there, Jeff? Go ahead, you're on.
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we pass resolution 2432, a resolution adopting and approving an agreement between the U.S. Geological Survey, USGS, Utah Water Science Center, and gauging station located in the Weber River at approximately 500 East and Young Street. Yeah, the Young Street Bridge.
I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion to approve resolution 2432 and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. All right, Kate. Agreement concerning the Morgan County Council of Governments, better known as COG,
Better known as COG.
resolution 24-33, Kate Becker, Administrative Manager of Morgan County.
And unofficial secretary to Steve Gale and Blaine Fackrell. Yes.
You've experienced them unofficial things?
A lot,
Yeah.
other duties as assigned.
Well, I appreciate your efforts to get COG.
There was a
Way it
lot of
should be.
confusion as to who was allotted a voice, how many votes that entity came with. And well, there's just a lot of confusion and a lot of the RPO COG things that you sit on, were just things not done by resolution. We're trying to clean that up. So this was from the 2002 version that we amended in the last few COG meetings to this version. It was never done by resolution in the county. I don't know if it was ever done by resolution in the city, and therefore it's not technically an amendment. So it's not presented as an amendment so much as a governing document
We've never had an agreement in the past.
for COG.
Yes.
So COG specifically is an advisory body for the corridor preservation tax, which brings in about a little under $500,000 a year. So RPO, Regional Planning Organization, which met, I guess, Monday, and I still had it for Thursday, so I apparently did not show up. That meeting, the city, your city planner, planning and zoning, right? What's Lance? Public Works. And then the county, their Public Works and WFRC make a priority punch list of projects for those funds. So they recommend projects to COG. And then COG is as a voting group, is the city, the county, and the school board. And they are the recommending body of the budget funds. So not having a recommended body done by resolution when they're essentially their voice is in charge of almost $500,000 a year, I find to be an issue. So we're just trying to do things correctly.
Makes sense. Good.
And you're all welcome to come to those meetings. It's not just Steve. Steve can't be the only pretty face there.
We have Jeffrey.
I go to the COG meetings.
Tony.
He does. You go to everything though.
He goes to lots of stuff.
CEO, CED,
I'm retired and bored.
TTAB, ATAB. Yeah.
Uh,
Do you have any questions as to how we drafted this? Or any of the changes maybe from '02 to present?
Mayor, if I can ask a question, I just want to make sure we're looking at the same,
Sent her the most updated one.
you got it, and that's what we're looking at?
Yeah.
Okay,
I got it yesterday from her.
perfect.
And then she.
Hunted me down in my office.
Instead,
Yeah.
that's the only thing. The other thing is we had a question on the title.
Yeah, didn't you
One
say there
said
was a
the,
Scrivener's error in there?
Yeah, in one part, it says Morgan County Commission of Governments for the purpose of meeting, this one right here. But down here, it says Morgan County Council of Governments. So is it county council or county commission? It's council. So change this one to county. Yes.
So that's an amendment to the preamble.
Mhm.
I think that's the only,
Is it a county council though? Because it says it's entered into by the
But it's a
county
council.
commission.
It's the county commission, but it's a
Okay.
council
But
of
it's the
governments.
county council. Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so mission's okay. First name.
Thank you.
so I'd also like to thank Kate. She's been amazing to work with. It's every day a question comes up. It's so nice to have a point of contact. Now, when we used to just say the county, nobody knew what that meant. Like, go talk to the county and it's like, and
We're gonna start.
yeah, where specifically, so she's done a great job of getting her arms around the machine of the
I'm very tall. I have
big arms.
big arms.
How long have you been in your assignment?
January 16th.
Good.
well, I travel with one of your commissioners often to different
I
meetings
appreciate that. And
and, we have some good discussions, but what I like that's starting to happen is the cities in the county.
Mhm.
And it's good to not have like a fence or a wall built between the city and the county.
They worked for Germany.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say the same thing. COG seems to be at least running smoother, that we're all
Everyone's.
part of the
equal.
county. Yeah, and we're trying to all
No
move in the
one
right direction.
Supersedes the other.
Yeah,
That's-
there's been a big difference in the
I
last
bring
bit.
up the example of the Young Street Bridge often, that it's in city limits.
I owe you a check.
But what it does for the county is amazing.
Yeah, and I love it.
The safety of the kids now. that
And the
there's
school.
actually
Yeah,
two
the
ways
district.
out
Yeah.
instead of being trapped with one way. But it seems to be that it can be forgotten. You know, but because it's in the city, the whole county benefits, and the city benefits from many things that the county has in line for. So,
When it was my understanding, Ty is the one that identified the funding stream.
yeah. So, but I appreciate that actually the trips with this commissioner are getting tons friendlier. And neither one of us are offensive. Not saying it was too bad, but it's good to feel like there's unity. That the city's not trying to do something that the county doesn't want, and the county isn't doing things that the city doesn't.
I do. want
I shouldn't say want, but that it needs and that helps both the county and the city. So I appreciate you standing in the line of fire like you have, and
Well, I think you'd understand being that you go to all of them, just as I'm assuming the commissioner you're referencing goes to all of them. When you have one point of contact coming back, sometimes their version of what was decided can be skewed. So it's kind of nice to have continuity. And that also helps not build fences.
yeah. Yeah, I appreciate your efforts, and thanks for moving in the city.
Yeah. My family invaded here last weekend. So you were invaded by the state of Wisconsin. I didn't know if you knew that. But they were just impressed because we're from a very rural community. We just like Morgan City, we don't have stoplight. But there's no streets. We're just farm to farm to farm. So they were just fascinated at how many people were out on their bikes or walking with their kids or walking, holding hands, or just outside and not just behind some play box behind a TV. And I was like, well, I mean, look around you. It's so beautiful here. Why would you want to? But, you know, when you're a daddy's girl, one of 9 kids and the only female, he's a little bit of a hoverer. And so he could definitely tell this is a safe place for me to be.
Good.
Dogs like it too.
I feel the same way.
Mhm.
And what's fun is I can look people in the eye all the time and say, man, that Mickelson Mile is a great place to walk. Or, you know, just like you said, I see moms pushing strollers. I see little kids on training wheel bikes, with moms helping, and it's just a kind of a nice scene, so.
Yeah. I did
So-
get a little grumpy during the fair when people were parking on the new trail. I will admit that, only because I knew the price tag. It's like, that is a very expensive parking lot that you just created. But yeah, other than that, we just need a lot more no parking signs. Maybe pictures, video of how not to park on walking trails. I don't know. I'm open to suggestions. ATAB meeting is Monday.
Well, I think since you've been here, you're solidifying things.
And I'm sorry, this is my first time before the city council. It's also the same night as school board, and that relationship seems to be a little bit more caustic than the 2 feet away that we are. So,
Yeah,
I don't come to county meetings for fun either, so.
and
It worked.
I think they're brilliant.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's going well.
okay. So I guess we need a motion on resolution 24-33,
With an amendment to the preamble.
an amendment. well, let's see, resolution adopting and approving an agreement concerning the Morgan County Council of Governments.
Mayor, I'd move that we adopt resolution 2433. Adopting and approving an agreement concerning the Morgan County Council of Governments.
Change
Pardon?
with the change noted.
One change,
The change noted,
preamble.
including the preamble.
And I will second that, Mayor.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Resolution 24-33 with a preamble
Word change.
word change. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Denise, that's unanimous. Again, thank you, Kate, for your work. And you're free to go walk the sidewalks.
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks, Kate.
Good night.
Okay. If we move to item 5, any updates or comments from the council?
Well, yes. Again, I think everybody was appreciative of the bridge. Was it last night for the homecoming parade? Looped all the way around and threw candy all over the streets again, but man, that a lot of people come support that, so that's fun to see.
They need to keep it more intact as when they cross the bridge, when they give up when they cross the bridge, so they get down to my place.
It's all over, huh?
You don't get all the
I
candy
got
from your
it.
house?
I got it.
Okay,
You find your 2-year-old.
You go the other way.
start the other way. huh?
Yeah.
Now,
Be first.
Every other year.
There you go.
I guess Jeff asked. Kate, she came in as a consultant to start with, right?
Yeah.
And is now hired?
Yeah, so she did a 3-month contract to begin with, and it was a kind of a test period for the county and for her to see if it's a job that she actually wanted to do, and then they negotiated a contract, so now she's under
Okay,
a couple-year contract. Can't remember if it's 2 or
It's 3.
I think it's 3, but so
So before, they really didn't have someone in charge of it, other.
They tried many years ago with
City and
the,
a member
yeah,
from county.
with an administrator.
She kind of keeps it all running more smoothly.
yeah, and so one thing that we didn't mention is when Steve and I go to a meeting, they'll talk about a concept or let's approve a budget or whatever, but nobody actually goes back and tells the staff, you know, put this in the budget or make this expenditure. And so there's always been a
Disconnect.
disconnect.
Yeah.
It's just 'cause you
Example is the COG money went into just the county budget.
Went into general fund instead of restricted funds.
Yeah. So that's where it's.
well, and it just kind of like when it's the city's turn to kind of host and somebody from the city will be the chairperson for COG. And Denise has generally been the one there to do the recording and doing all of that. And Ty's been good. He'll always be there to make sure whatever we talk about comes back to the city. But when they were here, we'd have the county councilman, then they'd go back and nothing, it just never,
And so
when the school hosted it, the school secretary would be there to kind of make sure everything was followed through with, but now she's been at all of them and at least follow through on the county side to take steps that they're saying they are gonna do.
Mhm.
Trying to be political, Ty, is that?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been an improvement having her in attendance at COG to keep the county moving in the same direction.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna leave you if that's okay.
Thank you, Gary.
Gary, thank
Okay.
you.
All right.
You've been so quiet, I forgot to say you can
Excuse you.
take off your fight
No, it's
pattern.
been interesting. I was not aware of everything you're talking about, so thank you.
All
You've
right,
updated me. Thank you.
enjoy.
All righty.
Travel safe.
Thank you.
Back to COG, the commitment that COG is made to fund the bridge, does that have to be renewed? Is that, could they come up, she mentioned projects, could they come up with another project and sideline our payment?
No,
Okay,
no,
It's
they're
a
still
done
trying to
deal.
figure out which fund to pay it out of. But they do have the commitment.
But
They have the commitment to pay it.
ultimately, they get the payment made.
Uh,
That's the important part.
and they're
What
just,
percent is that they was paid, remind me?
they're paying about 150,000, 151,000
Of their-
of the bond payment. So it's,
Isn't it?
it's 150 something and we're paying 180, I think is ours.
And that comes out of their 500 that she mentioned.
No. There's three different funding sources. For roads. One's corridor preservation funds, and then the other two are local option sales taxes. One's the third quarter and one's the fourth quarter. 2217 and 2219, but they all accumulate different amounts and they all have different parameters on what they could be used for. All three are eligible for the bond payment for the bridge. And that's all we did was get an agreement, but it just said they're able to pay it out of whichever fund they want.
Okay.
And then we reprioritize, or we have two requests this year for COG. And so we're doing that for October. One of them's to use corridor preservation money to purchase ground in front of the UDOT shed right away, because that's a future road. And that's the use of the funds. That's the best use of those funds. And so we're gonna apply for that and then
Pursue that.
a trails grant. If we can get a grant, we're gonna ask also the COG match,
Support that.
match some money would like to put a trail from State Street down 300 West on Island Road to 400. So there's no sidewalk there on either side of the road, and the sidewalk doesn't necessarily fit. There's some obstacles and we don't have stormwater, so curb gutter sidewalk doesn't really fit. So we're right now just studying to see if we could do a
Trail.
paved trail through there, connect it all up and get people off that narrow road. So
Good.
Sweet.
it's probably more than you needed or wanted to know, but that's what we're using. That's kind of the COG discussions right now. So.
Okay.
It's good.
Okay, Ty.
Make just one report.
okay.
Yeah, and that is that Ty and I attended the Utah League of Cities and
Oh.
Towns conference last week. Denise participated also. We got to hear Governor Tonks give his report, his State of the Union address there.
State of the state.
State of the state, yeah.
No, not formally, just.
It was well attended with, there may be 600 attendees, I think.
Yeah.
I think I saw it was held at the Salt Palace, and some good breakout sessions. We learned a lot about development agreements, for example. It was worthwhile.
It's fun to go with Dave. That was carpool.
Good.
It's good couple days.
Yeah,
So,
they fed us well, didn't they?
yeah, we always eat enough at conferences. So you ready for my
Yeah.
report? So just a couple project updates. 300 West is just about done. They're kind of on landscaping. So as you go down, it's 300 West between Young Street and 100 South. So we had there's a home being built, and so we already had the road contract in place, and so we required them to do the curb gutter sidewalk in front of their home, and then we finished out the rest of that block because there's no other, it was a short stretch and there's no other development potential. And so that'll make a little bit of a connection to the park over there and Young Street. So that project's almost done. They started the project underneath the bridge
See them over there digging today.
Yeah, and they've been dewatering and they'll probably start pouring concrete in the next couple days. So that'll be a trail underneath the bridge and a parking lot. And then depending on funds, maybe a restroom, but we'll see how it goes. The entrance to the city just got started, so I don't know if you drove in town and saw the, yeah, so we've talked about that before, the new design and the dryscape. So they're starting to move material now there and on the corner of Commercial and State Street. I just found out today that UDOT's gonna change the speed limit on SR 66, so as you're heading south on State Street, it'll stay 30 miles an hour till you get out of town. And right now, after 200 south, it goes up to 40. They're gonna reduce that to 30 just so, and then they're gonna lower the speed from there in the county as well. I think the county, it gets up to 50.
It says 50, it'll go to 40.
It'll come down to 40, so.
Why did it change?
They did just speed study. I can't remember what she called it, but
Not any request of ours.
That's what I told her is if I had any feedback, it would just be nice if we did stuff like this we've been working with them for a couple of years on a study, right? And then they come and say, oh, by the way, we studied your
Yeah.
road and we're changing the signs. And it's
Yeah.
like, why couldn't that be part of our,
Yeah, done with no input.
yeah, it's our Main Street, or,
Yeah.
it's our big street, but anyway, I was glad that they at least gave us a heads up, so
Yeah.
now you know if you see people getting tickets,
Yeah, will that be a speed trap?
we'll find out. Then, maybe on the way into town it will be, but I guess if they're coming from 40, it wouldn't, the speed trap might be out in the county when it doesn't go to 50 anymore, but. And then, we have
So it'll be 40 all the way up to the dam?
um,
No, it's
It goes-
less as it goes through Porterville, not.
it'll come back up to, so 40 or 45, she didn't know exactly, but it won't be any more than 45 all the way to the,
And right now it's 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, it probably makes sense.
yeah. And then we have a meeting on October 1st at 4 PM for the recycling program with the county, so we're kind of, we've gotten some pricing from Robinson Waste that we didn't have before, and then we also got the incentive from the district of how much they're gonna subsidize each can.
Get some numbers then.
Yeah, and get some numbers, so we're better able to say, what's this decision gonna cost us? And so,
Did you say October 1st?
October 1st at 4 PM.
So will there be a email coming out or should I just mark it now?
Just mark it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just,
Will it be here?
it's not,
The county chambers again.
I think we'll just host it here. So it's just us getting back together with Cindy, and so it's kind of the small group, but if you're interested, it's not
Not like we did.
not the joint
Formal
meeting
county.
before. Yeah, so we still have somewhat of just a working group. So Mike Newton, Tony London are the two.
And Lance and.
Jeff, when we were there, it was Mike and Tony. Of course, they're on the board.
Sure.
They were pretty much the discussion anyway, and I think my feeling is let that working group do their
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, just so you're aware of it.
Okay.
So anyway, we're still
Yeah, I don't
working towards that, but the
think we need
coming
both
up in a hurry.
bodies.
so. I think that's all my updates, Mayor.
Talk about generators.
So which ones?
There's
The
big
ones out-
box right here,
I
yeah.
so, it's still, the wires have been pulled, but the control box is gonna be in a closet over here. So it still needs to be wired in, so it knows when to kick on and kick off based on the building's power, but it's installed in
It's diesel?
natural gas, so it's plumbed into natural gas.
Just our own natural gas to the building.
Yeah, we redid the line, the meter, so, they were able to just use the 2-inch.
And it'll be backup for the building here for the city
Mhm.
office and the basement.
Yep, and then we have 2 portable generators on that same grant. We already have the 2 portables. One's larger than the other.
You're able to hook to a substation and power?
No water, so, wells, it'll run a well.
The portable.
The portable ones, yeah, they won't run a substation, but they'll run the sewer. So like if we have problems with a lift station or a well and a long-term power outage, we have all the plugs. And then also the city shop has a plug on it. So they're all pre-wired that we can just drive up with, and those are diesel. And we can run some of our facilities with those.
So loss of power, we could keep water tanks full.
Mhm.
I mean, that hasn't been the case in the past.
Right. Mhm.
That's nice.
Yep, so I think we're just about ready to submit for reimbursement on that grant, so.
Do we maintain those? I know with similar generators that I've experienced in the past, they needed to be maintained and almost, if you didn't know what you were doing, contracted for the maintenance. Do we do that ourselves?
Yeah, we'll be doing that ourselves. Mhm. So they don't require, we'll have someone,
Weekly?
not weekly, but the mobile ones actually get used, like one of them's a light tower.
Oh, anyway.
Yeah, but if it needs any service, then we'll contract that out. Like oil changes and,
Yeah,
yeah, all that stuff, but
I wonder if we could get a better deal if it's contracted in advance,
in
in
advance,
advance.
I can check with them and see,
Yeah, there's a couple of companies out there and
but just make the rounds.
that do it.
I'll check with them and see what we want to do. Point.
Okay,
One other quick comment, I guess. I don't know, have any of you got any other comments or Ty here at the city? That we've been getting beat up pretty good on the internet and Morgan Moms for bills, and is everybody complaining about their assessment and their taxes? Cause I looked at my city bills and they're not, I'm not sure out in internet world, everybody's comparing apples and oranges.
Or not.
I've had some people, I'm like, my bill, my August bill is $20 more, and I know I ran my air conditioner a lot, but I think they're complaining about their taxes. I don't know. People are saying their city bills are $100, mine's $400. I'm like, I don't know what the heck.
So for what I understand, and just from our billing staff, is somebody started a post and then other people chimed in and just mentioned everything that they could think of to, like, that we're hiring people out of the county and I got big fat raises and stuff that, so everyone just chimed in, right? But the original bill in question, they actually called and got their bill reviewed and it wasn't what they thought at all. And so we also had someone come in and just say, I saw this on the internet.
Okay.
So I'd like you to show me why my bill's so high, and we compared it to the previous July, and it was actually less this year than it was last year. And the beginning of the post just said, my electric bill is X amount of dollars, but it wasn't their electric bill, it was their total
city, yeah.
total city bill. And they had just applied for services, so their bill included connection fees on water and sewer and power in addition to the usage. And so little different bill once you read it, but yeah, we get,
Well,
we're not on, like, we don't monitor and not on it, and we don't reply and we don't respond because I kind of feel like that's like butting in someone's coffee shop talk. It's like, I don't belong in the conversation, but they do happen.
Well, and I had somebody ask, well, I know I looked at mine, I looked at theirs with them, I said, where's your last month? I don't know what. And they said, oh, well, I don't know what they're talking about online either, I guess. I'm like, well,
Yeah,
go ask. You can go ask. That's fine.
that's the answer right there. Like, if you actually have a concern that you'd like an answer to, then you go
Yeah.
ask the entity. If you just wanna spout off about it, then that's what you do. I mean, if you're looking for sympathy or buddies or I don't know what else, but
If anybody looks at minutes, we did
Yeah, but
It was
we've,
crazy. It was been nuts for the last few days. But
yeah, but I think we've done a really good job of answering questions of
Okay.
people that want to understand their bill, or I get that up, you know, why. Like I've spent, like I had one guy that really wanted to know why power costs what power costs, and I spent like an hour with him going through the whole gamut of fund balance and operating costs versus capital costs and the cost of energy, and he had a spreadsheet compared to other cities and stuff like that, but we're willing to have those conversations anytime, so.
that's what I told him. So I hope somebody contacted you anyway.
Good, yeah. S- we'll see, if they come, we'll ask them if they came with a reference. Did you get, did you get referred by, we'll keep track of who gives the most referrals.
Most people don't want to claim me, so.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for a great meeting, and this meeting's adjourned.
Let Tony and Eric know that we can do them in short order too.
Geez, yeah.